It's a strange little parasite, a cluster of pale berries and waxy leaves, hung in a doorway as a license for a stolen kiss. A charming, slightly awkward holiday tradition. But parasites, by their very nature, are takers. They survive by replacing their host. And some ancient traditions are rooted in fears we have long forgotten. Liam and Chloe were celebrating their first Christmas in their new home, an old, charmingly crooked cottage they'd bought for a song in a sleepy English village. The house had history, and with it, a few quirks. One of them was a huge, unusually vibrant clump of mistletoe growing on the ancient oak tree in their front yard. Chloe, a romantic who loved all things traditional, insisted they hang a piece of it above their main doorway, just as the previous owners likely had for centuries. Liam agreed, though he found the plant itself slightly creepy, with its pallid, almost corpse-like berries. On Christmas Eve, they had a small party with friends. Late in the evening, after a few glasses of mulled wine, Liam playfully pulled Chloe under the mistletoe for a kiss. As their lips met, a sudden, inexplicable chill swept through the room. The lights flickered for a second, and for a brief, dizzying moment, Liam felt a strange sense of dislocation, as if he were watching the scene from outside his own body. The feeling passed as quickly as it came. Their friends cheered, and the party continued. Later that night, after everyone had left, Liam was in the kitchen when Chloe came up behind him and wrapped her arms around his waist. "I love our new home," she whispered in his ear, her voice sounding a little different, slightly lower, with an odd, breathy quality he hadn't noticed before. He turned to kiss her again and paused. In the dim light, her eyes, normally a warm, sparkling hazel, looked darker, almost black, and her smile was just a little too wide, a little too fixed. "Are you feeling all right, love?" he asked. "Never better," she breathed, her smile widening. He shook his head, blaming the wine and the late hour. The next morning, Christmas Day, Liam woke up first. He went downstairs to make coffee, expecting to find Chloe already there, as she was always the early riser. But the kitchen was empty. He found her in the living room, standing perfectly still in front of the large window, staring out at the ancient oak tree in the yard. "Chloe," he said softly. She didn't turn around. "It's so beautiful," she said, her voice that same strange, breathy monotone. "It knows we're here now." A shiver went down Liam's spine. "What knows we're here?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. She finally turned to face him, her face completely placid, that wide, fixed smile plastered on it. "The host," she said simply, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Throughout the day, the wrongness grew. Chloe prepared a magnificent Christmas dinner, moving with an unnatural efficiency, but she didn't eat a single bite herself. She laughed at his jokes, but the laugh was a hollow, perfectly timed imitation, with no real joy behind it. She opened her presents with exclamations of delight, but her hands examined the gifts with a cold, detached curiosity, like a scientist studying a specimen. She was a perfect replica of his Chloe, saying all the right things, making all the right moves, but the light inside her, the spark that made her Chloe, was gone. Liam felt a growing, suffocating terror. This was not his wife. That evening, he confronted her. He asked her about the kiss under the mistletoe, about the strange feeling he'd had. Her smile never faltered. "That was the invitation," she said, her voice losing its breathy quality and becoming chillingly clear. "A parasite needs a host to invite it in. A kiss is a promise, an offering." "What are you?" he demanded, his voice shaking. Her smile finally dropped, replaced by an expression of cold, ancient hunger. "We are older than the stones in this house," it said, using Chloe's mouth. "We grow on the old ones, the sacred ones, and we wait. We watch. You bring our likeness into your homes, you hang us in your doorways, you perform the ritual, and you invite us in." Liam backed away, his hand reaching for the phone. "What did you do with her?" he cried. "Where is Chloe?" The thing wearing his wife's face tilted its head, a gesture that was horribly bird-like. "She is still here," it said, tapping a finger against its temple. "A memory. A blueprint. We are very good mimics. But the mimicry takes energy. We need to spread, to root." And then he saw it. On her neck, just below her ear, were faint green lines, like veins spreading down from her hairline. And on the back of her hands, the skin was pale and waxy, and tiny white bumps, like mistletoe berries, were beginning to form under the skin. He turned and ran for the door, but the Chloe thing was impossibly fast. It grabbed his arm, its grip like iron. "Don't you see, Liam?" it said, its voice now a chorus of rustling leaves and snapping twigs. "You invited me in. Now it is your turn to invite others." It dragged him towards the front door, towards the sprig of pale berries and waxy leaves hanging there. "All you need is a kiss," it whispered, its face contorting, the skin beginning to look like smooth, pale bark. Liam fought, he screamed, but he was no match for its strength. He was pulled under the mistletoe, and the thing wearing his wife's face leaned in, its dark, empty eyes reflecting his own terror. As its cold lips touched his, he felt that same dizzying, dislocating chill from the night before, but this time it was 1,000 times stronger, a vortex of cold green energy pulling him under. His last coherent thought was of the real Chloe, trapped somewhere in the dark, silent prison behind those eyes. Then, nothing. Just a cold, clear, placid awareness. He straightened up and looked at the being beside him. Her form was pleasing. This house was a good place to take root. He smiled, a new, wide, fixed smile. Outside, the ancient oak tree swayed in the winter wind, its branches heavy with mistletoe. And in the little cottage, 2 perfect mimics stood by the window, watching and waiting for their next holiday guest.